You must have heard, with money comes great power, but in the real world, this principle isn't widely followed. More specifically, if we talk about rich people during the Gilded Age, there were a lot of people that made an endless fortune, but they had nothing when it comes to power and authority. When these men were focused on making money, some guys had their eye on attaining the power that came with wealth. When we say money and power during the Gilded Age, the first name that appears is J.P. Morgan, who was the patriarch of the Morgan family and one of the most influential personalities in the U.S. The Morgan family. The Morgan family is an American family and banking dynasty which became prominent in the United States and throughout the world in the late 19th century and early 20th century. Members of the family amassed an immense fortune over the generations, primarily through the noted work of John Pierpont J.P. Morgan, 1837 to 1913. History. The Morgan family came to some prominence in Wales during the 17th century. Born in Llandaff, Glamorgan County in 1616, Miles Morgan was the son of lawyer and politician William Morgan, who would be elected a member of Parliament in 1628. At the age of 20, Miles sailed for America along with his brothers John and James, seeking new opportunities in the New World. Arriving in April 1636, he landed in the Massachusetts Bay Colony. Settling in Roxbury and later Springfield, Massachusetts, Miles met Prudence Gilbert, his future wife. Miles was a soldier during the sack of Springfield. Miles' son, Daniel Morgan, 1736 to 1804, was a general in the American Revolutionary War and a hero at the Battle of Cowpens. He was also a successful farmer and land speculator. Daniel's son, John Pierpont Morgan, 1837 to 1913, was the founder of J.P. Morgan and Company, one of the most powerful financial institutions in the world. J.P. Morgan. John Pierpont Morgan was born in Hartford, Connecticut on April 17, 1837. He was the son of Junius Spencer Morgan, 1813 to 1890, and Juliet Pierpont, 1816 to 1884. His father, Junius Spencer Morgan, was a successful banker and one of the finest ones in the USA. That's where these banking genes in J.P. Morgan came from. Spencer found the potential in banking, and he knew what he had to choose for his son, so he advised his son to complete his education first and then join his business. Morgan attended the University of Göttingen in Germany. After graduating from college, Morgan worked for his father's firm, Junius Spencer Morgan and Company. He was too magnificent at this work and boosted the first to another level. In 1864, Morgan knew that it was time to take this business to another level, so he returned to the United States and founded his investment firm under the name of Dabney, Morgan and Company. The firm quickly became one of the most powerful financial institutions in the world. He utilized all the expertise he had gotten from his dad's firm and implemented it all. Soon, this became the most well-reputed firm in the United States. J.P. Morgan had the biggest hand in boosting the firm to another level. His name spread all over the states, and the firm started to be recalled as J.P. Morgan and Company. Morgan was a master of finance, on the other hand, a shrewd businessman. He had his eyes on getting the ultimate power, so he started to build connections within the government. His firm became a dominant source of government financing. He was a major player in the American economy during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. He helped to finance the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad, the steel industry, and the electrical industry. It all looked like he was doing it as a work of generosity, but behind the curtains, he had different intentions. He used these reforms to become well-reputed while making money through them. As you can see, he only invested in the industries like railway, steel, electricity, and finance. These were the industries that helped people to make millions during America's development. This shows how great a businessman he was, as he only invested in the truly beneficial industries from both financial and power perspectives. This shows that Morgan was a great businessman, but what do you think? He did it all for wealth, or was he craving for power, or both? Morgan also helped to stabilize the U.S. financial system during the Panic of 1907. He was also a generous philanthropist. He donated millions of dollars to charities and universities. Morgan died on March 31, 1913, at the age of 75. He was a complex and controversial figure, but there is no doubt that he was one of the most important American financiers of all time. The Morgan family today. The Morgan family is still prominent in United States history. Many members of the family have continued to work in finance, but others have pursued careers in other fields. So there isn't much information about the family these days. It's being said that Morgans lost their charm as soon as J.P. Morgan died. The Morgan family is still known for its philanthropy. The Morgan Library and Museum in New York City is one of the world's greatest cultural institutions. The Morgan family is a fascinating example of how wealth and power can be passed down through the generations. The family story is one of success, but it is also a story of controversy. The Morgans have been accused of using their wealth and power to influence government and business. However, there is no doubt that the Morgan family has made a significant contribution to American history. This was the Morgan family, or we could call it J.P. Morgan because, according to me, nothing is left in Morgan's hand if we eliminate the name of J.P. Morgan. Drop a like and share it with your friends. Let us know in the comments which family we should cover next.